Hello, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are. Welcome to another Tuesday Talk. Um, I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. It's a wonderful sunny day in Sydney, wherever you are tuning in from. So, today's topic is about removing the pain of publishing content. And this is one of the fears, challenges, blockers that it's not commonly talked about. And I do know about it because I have a lot of clients that they get to the point of publishing something and suddenly they stop. I also know this one from my own personal experience. So today I thought about talking to you about why you need to do it and how to move past that inertia, that blocker. If this is the first time that you are joining the Tuesday Talk, welcome, welcome. I always talk about two topics for two groups of people. One is for seasoned professional senior managers that they want to land a higher profile role, how to position yourself as a leader. And interestingly enough, definition of higher profile is very different to different people. I was surprised when I learned that. Some people would want a role with a bigger title, bigger remit, more known company. Some would want a bigger salary. Whatever higher profile is, there is a method for you to position yourself as a leader to be picked for those opportunities. And the second group is senior executives, CXOs, that they are currently in those positions and they're thinking, okay, what's next for me? And they want to have higher impact positions or type activities going beyond 9 to 5 of their organizations, perhaps doing some consulting, some advisory roles, some mentoring. And the work that we do there is monetizing your know-how. And just so you know, why a girl that her background is technology and business transformation and agility is doing that is because for many years, I've seen so many scenarios that someone is expert in something, is the mind behind the solution, heart behind the movement, but they never get picked up for higher profile roles. And I always wonder why, what's going on? And I decided to work on this topic, learn, observe, research. And then after a while, I found myself teaching that, coaching that, and I decided to do that one as a focus for me and for people that they want to basically go higher. It's a simple, unapologetic plan, desire. And I always simplify it and say, we work together till you get to the point that you're tapped on the shoulder and invited to the table. So that's what I do and why I do it. Why and what. The Tuesday topics always have a defined structure. As you know, I love a structure. And it's always a topic, a concept, a model, a life case scenario, either from myself or my customers, clients, and always an action. What's the point of learning something and not being able to put it into action? Today's conversation is about positioning yourself as a thought leader, and for that you need to publish your know-how, your understanding, where you are, basically your cases. And what I've noticed is that people have a lot of good stuff, but before they publish it, there is this barrier, there is this fear, there is this inertia that things don't get published. And I want to break through a couple of narratives. I want to give you some ideas as how to basically get rid of that fear, get rid of that blocker, and move forward with publishing your content and the cases and experiences that you have had, because firstly, it shows you have something to offer. Secondly, do that because if you share your experience and the cases that you've worked on, you are eliminating a pain for someone. So many times people don't know what has made you the good person, the professional, the seasoned person that you are, because they haven't gone through the experience, they haven't made the mistakes you've made, they haven't had the opportunity for the work that you've done. By sharing those lessons in form of case or article or achievement or any form, you will be able to transfer that experience to them. So that's a no-brainer. You already know that. But now we go to the next step as how to do this one comfortably and ease to it. So there are 4 narratives today that I want to work with you today. And first one is this topic, this content, this article is not new. First of all, it doesn't need to be new. For so many things in the world, there's almost nothing new in the world. It's just new in a different way and the way it has been presented. When I read a book, an article, I always look at 2 things. One is how that topic, that content, how knowledge, is there anything new in it? Second is how it's been structured and categorized and placed in a way that it can help me solve something. So most of the time, your topic doesn't need to be new. It just needs to be something that your method and your structure and your way of doing that and just sharing it. So remember that it doesn't need to be new. It needs to be your experience. And one key thing that I highlight here in terms of positioning your content and your narrative, the language that you use, is that it's not, hey people, here I'm prescribing the best method to manage your transformation. Hey people, this is the best method that I prescribe for designing your architecture. None of that. It is, hey people, this is the topic and how I went about it. So now I'm sharing that. Therefore, there's no opportunity for judgment. So this is not a prescription to solve the world problem. It's just simply a case that you've done it. Sure, this is how I make my breakfast oatmeal. Would you like to see? Fine. It doesn't make it right or wrong. You're just sharing the way you've done something. The second narrative is, what if it's not right? If the content is not correct. So that could be valid, and particularly if you are, I personally had this issue in certain topics. There are so many subject matter experts and thought leaders, or the topic is very controversial. And what I suggest here is to find a person that you respect in the industry. Doesn't need to be very high, doesn't need to be quite senior. It's just someone that you respect, that you believe is the best person to critique your article or your content, and send that to them for one key question. Is there anything off here? Is it something that fundamentally incorrect? There's a difference between having an opinion and having an opposing opinion on something versus something being incorrect. So what you want from a subject matter SME, for a thought leader, from a senior person, is to just tell you there is something, yes, there's something off, or no, it's okay, but that's your perspective. That will put you at ease that you don't saying something that is fundamentally incorrect or against a core principle. I remember the first article that I published on LinkedIn. I wrote the article and I revisited 4 or 5 times over 3 months. Then I got a couple of friends to review it. Then I got a couple of people that they were in my industry and my practice to review it. And I could not press send on that article for a very long time because I was very scared. And I remember my coach one day said to me, Shireen, if you don't publish it, you would never get to do anything and you would never be able to help anyone. Publish it. And I kid you not, I had to put my finger on a mouse on publish button on LinkedIn and look away and press send. That was how much I had imposter syndrome, how much I was scared to publish something. But I did it. Happened that that article went viral back then in 2018-19, got more than 12,000 views and then many likes. And I don't know what happened there, but it was just unbelievable. So I do understand the inertia and the blocker for publishing something, particularly if you're worried that what if the content is not correct. But find a way to validate that and move forward with publishing it. The third point is, what if people think, why is he or she publishing something now? All right, this is valid because you haven't been publishing anything and then now suddenly you're coming in and publishing something. Are you looking for a job? Are you thinking of moving to another company? What is it? What's happening here? And yes, that might be the case. And some people might think probably your team, people that they report to you, probably your boss is on LinkedIn and will see your article. So accept that what people think of you is irrelevant. You might be planning a move. You might be, you might have some plans, or no, you simply are sharing your learning and your know-how and your lesson learned. One other tactical thing that I did was that anyone that I was worried that would think something, I shared the article beforehand with them and said, like, I'm publishing this one. But later on, as I grew up, I learned that it's irrelevant what they think. You've got something to say and you're going to be able to brave up and publish it. What I would say here again is iteration of making sure it's your experience with a layer of making sure also that is your language, it's the way you talk, it's not more formal or more casual than what you normally are. And the best advice that I give to someone is, to my clients, is that when it reads, it needs to read as if it's you. And the best way is to imagine a friend in a pub or over a glass of wine or a cup of tea, and write it as if you're talking to that friend. That sounds like you, and it's your own experience, and you decided to publish it now. So that's it. There is all to it, nothing more than that. Over time, what you're really truly doing by publishing your content and your know-how, your experiences, you're building an audience. So let's do it, because you do need it as you progress in your career, to be known for something, for your expertise, for your edge. So this is towards that goal. But generally, as simple as put, share your lesson learned with others so they can get something out of it. The fourth narrative. This comes up a lot, almost without exception, with every single client that I've had, that they are in C-level positions, that confidentiality, or not security, but like, am I allowed to share this one? Well, de-identify it. Talk about, position it as a topic, as a content, as a model, as a series of steps that one would take in a hypothetical scenario. If you want to do this, here are the things that I have been doing in the past. You're not mentioning which company, you're not mentioning what was the case, you're not mentioning how much money was at risk, you're not mentioning how severe the problem was for the company. You're not saying anything. You're not saying anything about money. You can say upper bound of million, lower bound of 5 million. So you just can, make it generic enough to help someone to know what scale you're talking about, but not giving away and not causing you trouble. Also, one other thing that you can do is to run it by a legal team or public relationship if you are in a large organization. So, problem solved. But don't use it as an excuse for not going to public, for not going out there, for not sharing your information, your knowledge, your experience. So if I want to recap all the things that I have shared with you, why you need to publish, the most modest way to position yourself as a leader, as a subject matter expert, as a person that has something to say in this world is to teach it. The best thing you can teach is your experience, because there's no question about it. There's no critique on why did you have an experience. And the last one is when you're writing something, make it yours, make it your language, your experience, and everyone knows that this is what you're doing and why you're sharing it. And don't use any of those narratives as an excuse to stop publishing what you need to share with the world. I do have a good example of this one, because this is something that I did. First time that I was given a large budget for transformation, I was so happy that I've grown up and now I have my budget, so I can do something. And I spent a fair bit of, close to 60-70% of capability uplift budget on training. Little I knew that training is great, but it's only 1 or 2 or 3 days, and then teams will come back to their desk and they are thinking, okay, what now? So I didn't know that I had to augment the team with people that they have that capability, or with coaches, or with subject matter experts, and so they can move the team forward after the training. So that was a very painful experience for me. When I wanted to publish that article, Lesson Learned, as what not to do or how not to spend your money for capability uplift, I really was scared, because I thought, people will think I'm, incompetent. People would think I don't know what I'm doing. But the truth is, I knew what I was doing. I just didn't allocate the right amount of money. And of course, I didn't have the experience. But the most important part is that after that, I renegotiated every single contract we had with our vendors, that not only they do the training, but also they stay with the teams and they do further coaching for at least 3 months. So there is no disconnect between training and the work that is done day to day. That was the lesson learned. So if people judge me a little bit or a lot about the mistake, so be it. But I now have shared something with them that prevents a lot of pain or mistake in their systems, in their organizations. So I think I'm okay with that. All right, that's all I wanted to share for today. Do not use internal narratives that stops you from publishing your experiences. Go ahead, share your lesson learned. It does you good, it does others good. So move forward and step into leadership so people will get benefit from it and you share your lesson with everyone. Well, that was it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place, with a different topic. Bye.